Oh, hello, and welcome to Dente Rigamortis. I'm Review Cultist.
I'm Mikey. E stands for evil.
And I'm the Gamer Neil.
And we're here to discuss those internet stories, most creepy and most pasta, and be critically silly doing it. Tonight we have, for the first time, for the last time, Borrasca 5, chapters 16 through 20.
I think we established just Borrasca.
Yeah, Borrasca, sorry.
That's the name of the second encampment. It's Borrasca and Borrasca.
Yeah. As before in the last 3 episodes we've been doing, Borrasca 5, or Borrasca, as some of my layman hosts are to say.
I'm not a layman. I'm not a layman. Do I glow and try to kill you when you play Gears of War?
Layman, not lament, or lambent.
Lambent, that's the word. I was trying to find it myself, but I knew it was close. Continue, please.
Yes. Borrasca 5 is by the Dalek Emperor on Reddit No Sleep, or as they are otherwise known, CK Walker. And you can check Borrasca 5 specifically on their website, ck-walker.com. So, as before, we have a rundown, and I actually have jot note form of the rundown. So, starting with Chapter 16. Sam treks out to Borrasca, where the sheriff and a bunch of cops and Jimmy Prescott are waiting. He gets brought before his dad, where they have an awkward and painful Q&A session regardless of the situation. regarding the whole situation. Kimber gets caught and brought over to the group. Big surprise, she didn't leave town.
No one saw that coming.
Yeah. After some more arguments and creepy comments from the dad, the sheriff shoots Kimber and she drops dead. Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. On to Chapter 17. Sam, understandably, freaks out over this. More angry conversation continues. The sheriff, not wanting to kill his son, but torture him, shoots him in the chest where the bullet won't penetrate because he's wearing a bulletproof vest. However, Sam was not wearing the vest, as it turns out, nor did he have the gun that he was planning on taking his dad out with. That was on Kimber, who, while no one was looking, lined up a shot and kills the sheriff.
Yay.
Jimmy's men hold up those still loyal to the sheriff and begin thanking/gloating over Sam and Kimber. Sam, who's quite soon to die because of the gunshot wound, tries to say something to Jimmy, though. Sam tells Jimmy that he has cameras bugged on nearby trees that are live feeding the video of what just transpired to Seth in Chicago.
And there actually are cameras there with blinking red lights.
Yes.
Which is explained later.
Yeah. All the cops panic, and Jimmy, also panicking, in his rush to escape, calls the Drisking High School to delete the Borrasca data files. He then flees the whole scene with all other guilty parties. Overhearing this conversation, Sam calls Seth and tells him the location of the files, and Seth hacks the school servers to get the files. Then Sam dies. Or at least blacks out. GG. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then we move on to Chapter 18. We then rewind to before the walk to Borrasca, and Sam and Kimber are in the car formulating the plan to take down the sheriff and Borrasca, revealing the package was not, in fact, drugs, but dummy cameras, and that he planted them on those trees a couple of days earlier as an insurance policy on their... so that, he wouldn't get killed, or, he'd be able to, maybe, bluff them into, not letting them kill, or having them killed. Then Kimber starts shaking Sam as we transition to the next chapter of the story. So, on to Chapter 19. Sam is in the hospital. The FBI wants to talk to him following the massive info leak to the press about Borrasca and Drisking's dirty little secrets. He discovers Kimber is all right, and then he starts the process of getting his statement down to the FBI. Moving on to Chapter 20. Everything worked out. Drisking is being investigated and basically dead as its residents try to flee from the scandal. The bad guys are being caught, and Sam and Kimber get to see Kyle, who is in fact still alive. However, he has been sedated for about 10 years, and at first appears to be nothing more than a vegetable. As Kimber tries to speak to him, however, Sam, having failed to get a reaction, Kyle speaks Kimber's name, and that is where we close Borrasca 5. Or should Borrasca. So yeah, that's the rundown of the last 5 chapters of Borrasca. I guess we move on to Everyone Tolerates the Grammar Inquisitions. So, on to chapter 16. There's a lot to think about when you're walking towards your end. But instead of the existential bullshit I expected, my mind wandered in and out of the past. That comma halfway through that sentence should be a period, I believe. Or maybe even remove it. Or no, and then just remove. Sorry, yeah. And then once you put a period there, just remove the but, so it doesn't become a front but. And place however, and then maybe add the comma after the word expected. So it would read, there's a lot to think about when you're walking towards your end, period. However, instead of the existential bullshit I expected, comma, my mind wandered in and out of the past.
Yeah, that's all right.
Yeah. And then on, do you guys have anything for chapter 16?
I don't have any grammar.
Okay.
Nothing for chapter 16.
Okay, chapter 17? Nope. Mikey, do you have anything for chapter 17?
Nope.
Do you, you said you had nothing.
I have none.
Okay. Chapter 18? Nothing. Mikey?
Nope.
Chapter 19? I could already pain radiating from my chest below my heart. I could already feel pain radiating from my chest below my heart.
I can pain.
I could already pain.
He's just been shot. It's hard to formulate sentences.
Yeah, he's become caveman Sam again.
A little bit, yeah.
I winced at a stab on pain, the ricocheted from my spine to my ribs. I believe that's supposed to say, I winced at a stab of pain that ricocheted from my spine to my ribs.
Yeah. I don't know how the hell I read over these.
It's okay, it's fine. Do you have anything for chapter 19?
You got them.
Cool. Chapter 20.
That was the quickest grammar inquisitions ever.
Well, contrary to Jimmy Prescott's last words to me, I don't believe everything he's... Yeah, okay,
you auto-corrected that.
Hang on. Well, contrary to Jimmy Prescott's last words to me, I don't believe everything says. I leave you on to say, I don't believe everything he says.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's my grammar requisitions. Do you have anything for grammar requisitions further?
I'm assuming you had that one.
Yes, I had that one.
Did you have any front end, like a front end story?
Yeah, I got one.
Okay, cool.
Just usually saved for the end.
Oh, that's fair, yeah, sorry.
Jeez.
I forgot it. I'm sorry, it's been a week. I forgot our formula.
Understandable. You've only done this 270 times. Shh.
Yeah, sorry. And now?
No.
Oh,
Grammar Inquisition. Come on now.
sorry. Okay, sorry.
And now I'm going to interrupt Mike. Yeah, I apologize. Go ahead.
Yeah.
We found the car right where he'd said and climbed in, slamming the doors on the biting wind. And I auto-corrected that as well as had the issue. So he has weird when it should be he'd.
Oh my God, it's become a weird thing.
So it should be, we found the car right where he'd said.
Yeah.
Not where'd he said.
There's no weird he'd? Like there's
no deed because I auto-corrected.
Oh, I see.
While also having the wrong one.
Yes,
there,
of course,
so yes. So.
I remember reading that and stumbling over it. I don't know why I didn't write it down.
You figured
that's the one I
against
remembered. Yeah, I figured you guys got it.
Alright, and then I have a spot where...
I'm always last to get to talk, and he's like, I'm just gonna relax. Yeah, why not?
Yes.
Sorry.
And then I have a spot where I think there should be a comma.
Okay.
And there's also a front but. But, yeah. I'll just...
I like how you start your next sentence with a but.
It's the way the character...
No, it's dialogue.
talks. Yeah, it's dialogue. The way the character talks.
We're both right, yes.
Yes. I needed him to be more than the soulless vegetable I'd left behind. But being confronted with the human shell in front of me made the truth hurt even more. So I feel there should have been a comma after me. So, but being confronted with the human shell in front of me made the truth hurt even more.
Yes.
Yeah.
Also, that but should not be there because that is written. He's narrating the scene. He's not talking in the scene.
Yeah. All right. And now I have the
And now
story.
For everything people have been wanting, a conjunction junction by Mike E. The E stands for evil.
And one bullet. And I could almost hear them whispering through the walls like they had 10 years before. And looking at him now, I didn't doubt it. And while the sheriff's gun hadn't left his holster, all but Jimmy Prescott had weapons trained on my chest and head. But the sheriff knew who she was. But through the waves of sound and silence, I could hear them all laughing. And then I was alone. And she was right. And everybody associated with it was going down. But still, it was early days, and the waters were murky. And even though he was my father, I was too.
What? Sorry.
Whoa.
Sorry, continue.
And the files were apparently very detailed. But she deserved to know. But there was nothing to show that he'd understood. But being confronted with the human shell in front of me made the truth hurt even more. And then I heard a voice that hadn't spoken since the day it had told Jimmy Prescott to go fuck himself 10 years before on the now silent mountain.
See, that was almost a completely a story in of itself.
Yeah, like at the start, it almost sounded like he's talking to bullets that are in the walls.
It's poetic. It almost has a poeticness nature to it.
Yeah.
I don't know if it properly conveys Borrasca 5.
No, it's not supposed to.
But it definitely tells its own little story there.
Mm-hmm. He's talking about the human shell. Because he was talking to bullets, I just imagined it's a bullet shell that he's imagining walking around like a human.
Has a face on it.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. And then Sam is also his own father.
I mean, that's some next level deep shit going on right there.
Yeah.
All right.
But his father is also his father. So they both fathered himself.
So that he's double father.
Yeah. That's weird.
That's meta deep.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so is that it for grammar positions then? All that stuff?
Yes.
Cool. All right, on to actual thoughts. So back to chapter 16. You could use the sense you were born with and go home. Hell, I'll even have Dreddy drop off more heroin before you get there. You've run me up quite a tab with that boy over the years. My dad is my fucking supplier. How stupid was I? Fuck. I couldn't even remember the last time I paid for my drugs. Really, Sam?
Called it!
You never once questioned how you were getting drugs without paying
For
them?
free.
For free in Chicago. Like,
Sam's an idiot.
he really is.
He's not very smart.
And then again, he has been on drugs for like 10 years.
Yeah, but even when he wasn't on drugs, when this drug dealer was like, "Do you want some free heroin?" He's like, "Yeah, why not?"
Well, he might have been on weed before that.
Yeah, it's possible.
Oh my god. It's just like, all right. Moving on to the next thing. No, I have questions you have to answer, I told him through the burning in my throat. Now, that's where you're wrong, Sammy. I don't have to tell you, I don't have to do anything. Ever. Yeah, you're really not in a situation to be asking 20 questions, Sam. Also, probably not even the time for it. Unless it's a move to get him distracted. And then they have an update. Kind of was.
No, 100% was.
Yeah. The sheriff shot Jimmy. Oh, shit! I don't know whe'd look.
Oh,
fuck. Yeah, I definitely read that. Like as soon as I read that a little too fast, like skipping a little bit, I was like, oh, like, holy shit! Yeah. And then,
sad times.
Yep. The next one I have, the sheriff turned. Yeah. The sheriff turned around to give me a disgusted look and shook his head in disappointment. Then, without even turning to look at her, the sheriff shot Kimber in the chest where she stood, and she fell over into the snow without making a sound. And at this point, I'm like, fuck! And we're on the fifth last chapter. I feel like the dialogue in this. So this is my notes about like chapter 5 or chapter 15
in the moment. Yeah,
chapter 16 in particular. No, this is also like kind of my overall like thoughts on chapter 16.
Oh, okay.
I feel like the dialogue is a bit too supervillainy-esque from the sheriff.
But he's a supervillain.
He kind of is. Like, he's kind of like, it's kind of like almost. Again, I'm kind of reminded of like supervillains and stuff, like some of the villains from the Fast and the Furious series, especially the newer ones. Like that, like if you've seen the trailers for the spin-off one,
no.
Idris Elba's character kind of has a similar kind of thing to it, but
like he can straight up be a Batman villain.
Yeah,
you know.
But yeah, that might just be to show how far and disgusting the sheriff actually is, like in terms of being supervillainy. Like from Jimmy, like. Jim, and also I think that maybe the reason why I'm finding it kind of like, just like, why is he so supervillainy all of a sudden? It might be because like I'm still used to the sheriff not being this like something being the villain.
It's the first time we've talked to him.
Yeah, whereas we've talked to well, no, and even when we did talk, when we do get some conversations from in the first Borrasca series, he was a completely different person. He was a father figure.
Yeah.
But like with Jimmy, he was always a fucking skeevy asshole.
Yeah.
But yeah, so also another example of Sam not bringing up info about the past till it finally came up. Like, maybe drop a few hints prior to this between his childhood and now about what he suspected about his dad's old dealings.
Oh, like, because of what you do with the girls, you had to switch jobs?
Exactly. Yeah, like, and then like he says like, I guess I'd always known for like, even if I didn't realize it when I was a kid. I was like, you need to drop a little bit more hints on that.
I don't remember what was actually said in the very first Borrasca.
In the first Borrasca, it just says that something bad happened, and his family had to move to buttfuck nowhere Drisking. But it never actually says specifically what happened in St. Louis.
Not even vaguely like that?
It just said that he had some shady deal, some shady shit happened.
Did it say shady?
I don't know if it exactly says shady, but I know it hinted at shady stuff.
Then why did we think he wasn't shady the entire time?
Because there was only just a little bit of it was maybe a little too, it might have been a little too subtle, like there was only like one or two hints.
Yeah. There was a hint that I remember bringing up, like the fact that they got all the toys at Christmas.
Yeah, no, I get that, like I remember that part, but I mean like between then and now we should have had a few hints of like maybe even at the beginning of Borrasca 5 of him like having done some research on his dad, to give us some inklings. Like, don't even have to obliquely say it until the end, but give us like an inkling before you drop like this just out of nowhere. Yeah, it's just like I feel like this is actually an instance where I agree with you sometimes, Gamer, where the reader is trying to catch up with the characters.
Yeah,
and it's not even in like a good way where it's a mystery. It's like that information. Like I didn't even see that coming. Like I didn't even realize.
It's called a twist, though.
Yeah, but like
it's not really.
The problem is with a twist. There's usually some Easter eggs or some hints to it.
Yeah.
So yeah, just that one was a little too. It was like
Completely
We
left
finally got those when we finally got mention of those findings and stuff that Sam had done. It was basically too little, too late, kind of thing. Yeah. Do you guys have anything for chapter 16?
Well, just in regards to that last thing you brought up, with him shooting Kimber without even looking, that there's two other police officers right beside him.
He's just that good.
I had to know on that too. I really wish he missed and shot one of his buddies. It's like, oh shit! Then he has to actually turn and look and shoot her.
Yeah,
make it a little bit more realistic.
Yeah, it was a little. I mean, again, like this story has never not been tried to be cinematic. So I've made peace with the fact that we are not diving into like realism here. We are diving into the cinematic in the story. But yeah, I agree. Like it's like bang. Ah, sorry, Greg.
Yeah,
my bad. Like, yeah.
All right.
Hang on, I'll try again.
Or
bang, shoots the other guy.
shoots him in the knee. It's like, oh, I guess you're a desk job now.
Yeah. Actually, no, we got no opening. Just double taps him in the head. All right, now where was I?
Just show how evil he is.
Yeah.
I don't like Greg anyway. Sorry.
Alright, so I'll start with a quote here. The sheriff stepped forward and cracked me across the face so hard with his pistol that I felt bone snap in my nose. I fell back into the snow, and before my vision had even cleared, he snapped one of my ribs with the toe of his boot. And I'm thinking, and then they go on and talk about how he has the ballistic vest on, and I'm like,
should he not have felt that?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he does have like 7 layers on at this point too. So like maybe it's like he'd use that not just as warmth, but like to maybe cover up the fact that like he doesn't have a thick layer on.
Yeah, but
you mean feel with his foot that he kicks someone with a ballistic vest on?
Yeah,
I don't know if it stops blood force like that.
No. But like, I think what he's getting at is like, shouldn't the sheriff have felt that he didn't have?
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Well, and I mean, you'd probably hear a bit of a crack if you broke a rib, which probably wouldn't necessarily happen so much with a ballistic vest.
I don't know.
It disperses force,
kinetic
like
force,
that's how it works.
And I mean, like, especially like if it can like stop a gun from penetrating, or a bullet from penetrating, not a gun, because the gun's just like, but a bullet from penetrating, then like a boot should have a little bit more of a like.
It's a different type of impact.
Yeah, it is actually, because it's ballistics versus impact.
Yeah.
To quote Shadowrun.
Yep, exactly.
And their armor situation, but yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but
it's like we're like straight up plate mail. Like you can't, like, you can shoot through with a bullet or whatever, but it stops like actual physical melee attacks better.
Yeah.
So it might be. I haven't punched someone wearing body armor in a long time.
Next time on Mythos Busters,
we'll get some body armor and pull the cultist in,
actually,
and I will kick him in the chest.
We do actually have somebody who has body armor.
Joe the theater douche?
Yeah.
Yeah, we could. I could punch him.
Yeah.
I would happily punch him.
Tell him to bring to TennoCon. Hey, can you bring your body armor to TennoCon? Why? He's like, for an experiment.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I'm bringing a bat. Don't question it.
yeah. So basically, at this point, I've already, because of the whole toe rib thing, I'm already thinking he doesn't have his vest on.
Yeah. I didn't clue into that.
Like,
I didn't either.
That's what tipped me off. And then thinking, okay, so if Kimber's wearing the vest, how did they not realize that she's
layers? They both have like tons of layers on.
Plus, she got shot and went and fell down, probably face first in the snow.
Yeah,
where she would be covering up any blood that's.
And then she waited for them to move away from her because she's just a body. And she's like, line up the shot.
Yep. Spent 14 turns aiming to get extra dice.
She's got extra training, so she's got a feat at this point into it.
Oh, there's making a Shadowrun.
I know you were.
Too.
Sorry,
this is fine.
Yeah, so that's my thoughts on 16. Is it? I sort of already found out that he didn't have the vest on.
All right. Well, for us stupid people, it was pretty cool. it was a moment of like, oh God, Kimber just got shot and died. I guess she doesn't make it to the end.
You shouldn't say us.
All right, fair.
Because she just died, like, got shot, so, like, bang, she's dead. I'm like, there's still 2 chapters left. She can't be dead. She has to have the bulletproof.
I honestly didn't clue it until I read the next part.
That's entirely fair.
Yeah.
But I kind of clued in that she had it. I didn't think she had the gun.
Yeah, but it makes sense why she would have the gun because she's the better shot.
100%. Mm-hmm. But yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so I guess, do you have anything else for 16?
No.
Okay. Gamer?
I have some things, I suppose.
Okay. I almost moved on to 17. I was like, nope. I didn't finish it. That was all my stuff.
Yeah. So, right around the start of 16, when he's essentially just walking up to Borrasca, and they're just standing there looking at him. As soon as I saw that, and he's just like walking into the camp and they know he's there, I'm just like...
Yeah, I almost kind of wanted the police just like start clapping.
Yeah, I kind of wish that
you did it. You made it here.
It seems like Sam can never get the element of surprise on anyone, or if he even wants it.
Except he did. This was like, as we discovered, like 2 chapters away. This was all planned.
Yeah, but in the moment, it really didn't look like, because he doesn't plan anything.
Well, and that's like, again, like that's kind of the. I mean, we'll get this a little bit later, but it is kind of the element of surprise in the story.
Mm-hmm, for sure. But like, at least this time he made a rational decision, because when he's walking up and he sees them all staring at him, he's like, well, there's no point in me going beep, 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 and trying to sneak around.
And then it's like, oh, hi guys. He just gets taken.
Yeah. Also, he says that they're tracking him, like they put a bug on him himself.
Oh, maybe.
Because how else would they know when he's right there?
Or they just have some people out in the woods watching them.
Yeah, they might have been tracking, like, visual. Yeah. Mm-hmm. We talked about Dreddy being in on it. That dick.
Mm-hmm. Fucking Dreddy.
Mm-hmm. So then, the sheriff and Sam are exchanging verbal attacks for a little while.
Yeah.
And, the sheriff's expression darkened. Sam, you... Oi, boss! Look what I caught, lurking around. 15 men. 2 I hadn't seen previously around the side of the dorm, pushing a woman in front of them. 15 of them grabbed her and pulled her in. But
no, you realize you did realize after what that was meaning, right?
What?
That he just added some extra people, like on top of the roster that's already there.
Yeah, 15 people dragged her in.
No.
What the fuck are you talking
about? Well, there was 11 cops, including, right? There's like 11 cops.
Okay. He's adding to the counter.
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
Exactly. Yeah. Did you actually think it's 15 people just get?
Yeah, I actually kind of.
Sorry.
Yeah, hell yeah. But that wasn't even really my note, honestly.
Okay.
That was just in the moment. My note is essentially, like, when that happened, this just came to mind. I'm sure it's fine. Awudo is probably going for help right now. Hello, Ace! They found me. No sweat. Don't beat yourself up. Like, the same sort of thing happened, where it's like, this is fine.
Everything is fine.
Timber shows up. Oh, great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that was an Ace Ventura When Nature Calls reference for anyone that doesn't know.
That was also, I think they also did that in Indiana Jones, that like same scene.
Oh, probably. That's probably been done everywhere. And then, my last note is just saying that I'm calling that she had the bulletproof vest on because she can't die this early that easy.
Yeah.
And then that's it.
Okay. On to the next one. A shot to a ballistic vest hurts a hell of a lot more than a kick with a steel-toed boot. But of course, your ribs were already broken, so that must really sting. I knew I was going into shock. I pulled my hands away from my jacket and saw that they were covered in thick, warm blood. The laughing died immediately, and the sheriff took a step in my direction. "What the hell?" he said. "Fuck you," I answered. By the time he put it all together and looked over at her, Kimber was already standing where they'd left her discarded in the snow. She was staring at the sheriff down the sights of the Beretta, and before anyone could react, Kimber squeezed the trigger and killed her monster. Okay. despite a lot of the trashy dialogue and overuse of secrets and lies level of drama in the story, that was pretty fucking worth it. Like, I really enjoyed that kill. Or like that sequence of like getting revenge. Just personally, that was probably. I remember last week I was like, this conclusion better be like fucking worth it. It's like, yeah, that was pretty good. Primarily because I didn't see the bulletproof vest thing.
Yes. Technically, you got a better experience than we did because the way that it's laid out, you followed it that way.
Yeah. And then on the next one, what the fuck is that? He said, it's a remote for the video cameras. What the fuck are you talking about, kid? What video cameras? For the first time since I'd met him, Jimmy looked rattled. Those video cameras. I pointed up to the trees where a dozen small cameras blended in the dark branches. Their blinking red lights, all but invisible. What? And then update. It does go. It does get explained rather logically. Why like how we got the cameras and stuff. And it took me a few minutes to get to that point to like realize what was going on. Because originally I was like, how the fuck did he do this? Did he sneak around and do this? But it does explain rather logically like how he got there and like what the plan all stuff was. So it makes sense. But it just took me a few minutes to get to that point. So. Even before finishing and like taking a minute to think it through, even before finishing reading further, there are a few hints left around for this big reveal. Like I was like, wait, what? Where did this camera? The package, and then like just other things started like popping up in my head about like, but yeah. And then when it gets explained in the next chapter, it was like, okay, that makes sense. Mm-hmm. And then my next and last one for chapter 17. Fuck me, there are some serious heavy hitters in here. I can't believe they kept it on a school server. What fucking assholes. Sorry, what fucking assholes. I could barely hear Seth anymore. Hey, you okay, bro? Sam? And then I was alone. Okay, this was also pretty good. Though the villain's exit was a bit quick.
Who, Prescott?
Yeah, Prescott and the rest, like, they just kind of like, woo! Like, within a couple of paragraphs, they were gone, basically. Like, yeah. And I mean, I get it. Like, we discover they don't escape, and that retribution comes down on them pretty nicely. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But I would have thought that Jimmy would have questioned the plausibility of the cameras a little longer than he did. He kind of just like, as soon as he heard video cameras, he booked it. Like, he didn't even like, he took them at his own. Yeah, that is true. Like, he did see them. So like, and
he didn't think about the possibility of them being fake.
Exactly. Yeah. Basically, I just like guess he's more cowardly than I gave him credit for. But yeah, no, it does make sense because again, like their whole cover's fucking blown if that like at worst case scenario. Mm-hmm. But yeah, that's my thoughts on chapter 17. So, Mikey, do you got it?
Yeah.
Okay. Gamer, what do you got for chapter 17?
I believe I have something.
Well, Jimmy is a good driver.
Yeah.
He did the phone call before wheeling out of there.
Yeah. He doesn't want to get into an accident of any kind. Mm-hmm. I mean, you're going down a wintry road, down a winding mountain road. Mm-hmm. Yeah. What? Safety first is what we're talking about. Yeah. Like road safety. You don't call somebody on your phone when you're in a car.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Also, it narratively gives lets Sam and like him to further incriminate them by knowing where it is.
Yeah, pretty much.
Also, those fucking scumbags putting it on the fucking high school servers. That's fucking creepy.
Hiding in plain sight.
It is, but it's no. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm just saying it is doing it in plain sight. But again, it just helps show how disgusting this organization is. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Anyways,
yes.
So the quote I have here is maybe not. The sheriff shrugged and dropped the barrel of his gun into my chest. But I can break your ribs with a fucking bullet. I heard the shot, but I didn't feel it enter my body. I instinctively put my hands over the entry wound on my chest. I didn't have to feel it to know it was there. So, previously to this, I thought he didn't have the bulletproof vest on.
Mm-hmm.
And then he got shot, and it says, I heard the shot, but I didn't feel it enter my body. So, like, okay, he does have the vest on.
Except, okay, so here's... this kind of goes two ways. Because, yes, it kind of hints that, like, okay, he does have the vest on, but also, like, sometimes, I mean, in stories and in movies and stuff like that, when somebody gets shot, they don't fully register that they've been shot. Like, the pain doesn't quite make it... It hasn't, like... Basically, they go into shock, like he says. So it kind of gives you that a little bit of ambiguity in that single moment as to whether or not he had the vest on or not.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but it made me flip back for a second. Like, wait, does he have the vest? Maybe Kimber also secretly had another vest.
Yeah,
because she had all these guns. So,
but then he pulls out his hands. Like, oh no, I'm bleeding.
Yeah,
I'm in shock.
This is
that's why I'm not feeling it yet. I'm gonna feel it in a moment. Oh, there it goes.
There it is. Yep, that's the pain. Ow.
Yeah, it's like when somebody like shoots somebody. It's like, ooh, what you say?
Yes. And yeah, my next quote here, a couple lines later, I knew I was going to shock. I pulled my hands away, blood and all that. So at that point, so I was right.
Yeah, so you were right. Yeah, you caught on to it earlier than.
But it, like, gave me a fake out that I was wrong. Yeah. It's weird.
Well, I think that's actually a really good thing in the story because it's like makes you question, like, wait, didn't I hear it? And then it confirms that you were right. It's like, yeah, I was right. Okay, good.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Mm-hmm. And then right after that, Kimber getting up and shooting him. I'm like, oh, so Sam didn't even have the gun.
Yeah.
Sneaky bastard. Exactly. I didn't think he would. I thought he had the gun.
When Chapter 18 comes around, I was like, oh. I thought they were just over their head again and going into it again.
Pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
And then when he's mentioning the camcorders and all that,
yeah,
and he's saying blah, 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 but at the end he says, it all came down to my ability to bullshit. And I'm like, bullshit? But they're right there. He has nothing to bullshit anything. At the moment, I know. Yeah, exactly, yeah. But because he said that, it kind of made me question, is like, why does he have to bullshit? Are they not real?
It's because they're laying the groundwork for the revelations that are about to come in the chapter.
Spoiling the revelations?
No, okay. There's spoiling, and then there is setting up for that. Like, spoiling would be blatantly saying, like, those cameras are fake.
He said he had bullshit.
He's alluding to it. He's not saying blatantly that those are fake.
He said he had to lie.
It still could be that he's, like, bullshitting, but, like, maybe they aren't streaming to a specific thing or whatever. There's a little bit more, when you do it the way they did it, there's a little bit more ambiguity to it than just saying, I know they're fake. Like, luckily for me, Jimmy doesn't know they're fake. Like, that would be spoiling.
100%.
This is more narratively wise.
It's one step away from spoiling it.
Exactly, but it's fine. Like, that's, like, it's a teetering, it's a balance issue. Like, you gotta make sure that you don't say enough or don't say too much.
Yeah, but, like, there could have been a better way of saying it. Like, it all came down to my ability to, like, push him over the edge or whatever, you know, like, where he's not thinking, he has to freak out. There's words you can use that don't spoil it whatsoever, so when the flashback happens, like, oh, that's why he had to bullshit.
Now, question, though. Would you feel like that was, like, oh, like, that's bullshit, like that I have an entire chapter that explains everything, like, and, like...
That's fine.
Ruins, like, complete comes out of left field kind of thing?
Yeah.
Okay. Fair enough.
Like, it was fine. It's just I didn't like that it was slightly spoiled for me. Because I'm like, okay, he has to bullshit, so something's a lie here. Mm-hmm. Secret's a lie.
Yes.
Yeah.
The remote doesn't actually control the cameras.
It's actually just from the motel. It could have been. Like, it could have just been a motel.
It's like a TV remote. It's an Xbox controller.
He just pulls out an Xbox controller.
What the fuck is this? Oh, shit, I grabbed the wrong remote. But yeah, that's another thing, too. If they've been set up, I'm glad that they didn't notice them, because they've been set up for days.
Yeah.
So what I'm assuming was he set them up, but off. Yeah, and then when he got there, he clicked it to turn the lights on and be like, by the way, there's cameras.
Yeah.
Because if they saw all the lights throughout the day, they'd be like,
what the fuck is that?
Take that down.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But yeah, there was
for fingerprints. Oh, it's Sam. Okay, go kill him.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, that's it for that chapter.
Okay. On to chapter 18. I shrugged. It was a care package from Seth. He sent me video cameras. Why? For what? Remember the night I disappeared with the car for several hours? Kimber's eyes narrowed. Yes. I used the directions Jimmy Prescott gave me to find Borrasca 2. Please don't call it that. Also, please tell me you're fucking joking. Also, don't you mean Borrasca 5?
That's Borrasca.
This is why all of Borrasca parts 1 through 4 should have just fallen under Borrasca.
And this is Borrasca 2.
And then this is just Borrasca 2.
Because it's like sort of a
like,
title drop.
And I mean, like, who knows? Maybe in the future, if C.K. Walker decides to get this like published, she'll make Borrasca parts 1 through 4 Borrasca, just straight Borrasca. And then this one could honestly either be like an addition to it, because like both of them are about 83 to 80 pages long. So that basically would be about a novella length for both of them. But yeah, I just like as soon as like Borrasca 2, it's like, don't you mean Borrasca 5? Borrasca.
Yeah, it's Borrasca.
And then also regarding, so this is just regarding Chapter 18 as a whole. Chapter 18 straight up just Sherlock Holmes us. Like, and I say that in the good way. Like, there were hints as to Sam's plan earlier in the chapters, and now it's all but confirmed in this rewind of events to reveal the full scope of the plan. I think, if anything, the strength of Borrasca, the series, is setting some cinematic sequences and atmosphere, if nothing else. Oh, and I apparently have some more I should comment about Chapter 18. Specifically, the end of Chapter 18. I think it's the best plan we've got. Maybe I'll just stumble into camp later than you get caught. That way they'll assume you have the gun and I was just being careless. Sam? Sam? She was shaking me. I had drifted off. Sam, wake up! Wake up! And then, case in point with the cinematic sequences, this segue to Chapter 19 is perfect for me. Like, it was just like, nice blend. Like, I could see that being in a movie. Like, if this
you have seen that in a movie.
Yeah, I've seen
multiple
that,
times.
Yeah, exactly. But like, in terms, if Borrasca was to be adapted to a movie, like that would be a perfect like transition to like Sam waking up in the hospital in Chapter 19. Case in point, Chapter 19. But yeah, so that's my notes for Chapter 18. So, Mikey.
Yeah, it was interesting, but I kind of want to know what his plan was to do solo, because he really seemed like he didn't want Kimber to be there.
He didn't have a plan.
He didn't have a plan for it, yeah. And they was never going to, because, let's face it, throughout all of Borrasca 5, Kimber has never once obeyed him on, like, staying away from trouble and danger.
Yeah,
like,
so
he was never going to do anything solo.
he tried a lot.
He tried, but Kimber is a very persistent woman.
I think that's Mikey's point, though, the fact that, like, up until this point, he has had a solo plan, and he wants to know what his solo plan was this entire time. Probably just him dying.
Yeah, basically. It was him going on a suicide run.
Mm-hmm.
At this point, though, like, if he did this plan without Kimber there, I don't know how he would have shot him.
Yeah, as soon as he pulled the gun.
He wouldn't. Yeah, he would. Like, honestly, like, up until it was revealed that they had a plan, it just seemed like he was just, like, they were going to somehow get lucky, or he was just going to die, and then we're going to cut to Kimber, who had found out somehow knew where, like, the Drisking files were, and was going to go do that.
Mm-hmm.
But, honestly, I like the way it turned out, and the way Chapter 17 and 18 kind of blended in, because it gave you that, like, this is the plan. They actually had a plan. They were just over their head for once.
It's funny, when they actually work together, it goes pretty smoothly.
Yeah,
if only they did that the entire time.
Yeah, but then we would, and honestly, like, maybe this could be, then we wouldn't have 20 chapters of
I don't want 20
However,
chapters.
I understand, because honestly, like, I kind of...
It's only 19.
No, yeah. Yeah. I feel like a lot of that that earlier stuff could have maybe been, like, removed, and we could have just had Borrasca Part 5 as an addition to Borrasca 1.
Like the same length?
Yeah.
Well, no.
It wouldn't be the same. It would obviously not be the same length, but we could have, like, maybe convert it to Borrasca Part 5 and Borrasca Part 6. Like, basically have the first 4 be childhood stuff, and then have Chapter 5 and 6 be the adult conclusion. But yeah.
Well, the whole thing, I feel, would have been better if they moved it around a bit, like have him getting off the drugs, one of the first steps, and then going to a shooting range as one of the first steps before even reaching Drisking.
Yeah,
that'd be the smart move.
We mentioned we did.
Yeah, we did
already
mention that.
Yeah,
but
we
I
already
mean,
came that last
overall, it's just because we were talking overall. And
Yeah,
stuff.
sorry.
So
Here's the quick overall. Sam's an idiot.
yes.
Remember, he's not very bright.
But that doesn't stop Kimber from being an idiot, although she kind of is for not
Kimber
helping
is.
Sam get over his idiocy.
I mean, she bought 30 guns for two
That was-
people to use.
To be fair, that was a red herring. Like, as we discovered, that was completely a red herring because it was always going to boil down to her shooting the sheriff and then utilizing this plan.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
But she wouldn't shoot the deputy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She didn't shoot the sheriff.
Yeah, we
Fuck.
She shot the sheriff.
We found out who shot the sheriff.
Who is the deputy of Drisking?
Probably like all those guys.
All of them?
Yeah, like
They're all deputized?
Yeah, exactly. There's more than one deputy.
No, it's just one.
No, they shot the sheriff, but they didn't shoot the deputy, who was Jim Prescott. The deputy of this operation.
Of the operation, yes.
Yeah, because the sheriff shot from a glare.
Shot it. A glare. Oh. Alright, so
that's it for chapter 18.
okay.
So my only note that I wrote down is essentially with the cameras in the box situation. I thought it was pretty clearly implied that the box had the weeds in it early on, but it's never said the size of the box.
Yeah.
So it's entirely possible it had weeds and cameras in it.
Yeah, they could have.
Yeah.
Because he could have went like, Seth, I need cameras to fuck with them. Also, I have a stash of heroin that's in my mattress.
Trust me, I'm not going to use it. I'm going to give it to a crackhead down the road.
Well, he doesn't care.
Yeah, well,
I don't even think Seth...
Seth does actually kind of care about him.
Oh,
Remember,
sorry,
he does
sorry. I didn't mean he doesn't care. He doesn't know that Sam is straight right now.
That's true.
But, I mean, Seth did flush.
Yeah,
he's down the toilet.
yeah. So he's like,
That's true.
Yeah, so and like I feel like Sam at this point would have told Seth the full plan, his full plan.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's pretty much all I wrote down for 18.
Okay. Chapter 19. Chapter 19. Short and to the point of the aftermath of what transpires in Borrasca.
Oh wait, I have one more thing to say about 18.
Okay.
Sam's dead. The only reason he's alive is he made a deal with the devil. Or Kimber did. What was that creepypasta where someone made a deal with the devil to bring someone back to life?
I mean that's a lot of creepypastas. It was
like in the hospital.
I'm not. Oh my god! It's the Toronto one. It's the that wasn't my husband.
Yeah.
Significant. Yeah, really straight up. Yeah.
Just totally did that.
Or again, cinematic. Like Sam has plot armor. He survives.
You shot point blank with a 357.
I know, but plot armor, cinematic. I know. I understand.
It's Dirty Harry's.
Yeah,
fucking
I know.
giant magnum.
I know. Gamer, I know.
And that's another thing.
Okay.
If he's sitting there on his knees, getting shot in the body armor. Okay, if he had body armor, he would stumble back. If he didn't, he would stay in place, but there'd be a huge exit wound behind him with a fan of blood.
Yeah.
Oh, shit. as the sheriff looks over his shoulder.
Yeah. Shit.
Like, I kind of wish...
And then he looks over and is like, what? Through the eye, dead. And then more people get shot. It just becomes a bloodbath across Borrasca.
I mean, unless all the other cops started shooting each other.
Because remember, there's a bunch of them that were like...
Oh, yeah, that's true. But, yeah, either way,
yeah.
I know that the sheriff got a big magnum because he's the big tough guy.
Yeah, he's the alpha. He's an alpha.
But like it kind of makes it a little bit less believable, at least for me. Because even if he got shot in the chest with a Glock point blank, I'm assuming the shot missed any vital organs. And then okay, you could survive. But I don't know about a magnum. I know. Make pretty big holes in the back here.
I know.
Yeah.
On armor.
He's dead. Totally dead.
Yep.
The rest is just him in heaven.
Yeah, exactly.
Imagining.
Getting the best case scenario. Kind of, yeah. But anyways,
that's why it's also perfect.
Yeah. All right. So yeah, my chapter 19 is honestly just like No, it was short and to the point on the aftermath of what happened, like to Drisking afterwards. So, yeah. All right.
Fuck him.
Yeah, basically. Drisking all Drisking got fucked. Not literally, but
kind of literally.
Yes, but I mean, in terms of it got shut down, basically. The town is not going to survive, is gone after this.
The town?
The town,
the operation, but...
No, didn't you, a shit ton of the townsfolk basically fled to try and get away from what was going on.
That's true.
Yeah.
Because they're all in on it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Or they all had some dealing with because they all had a bunch of them all had kids. Remember? So
yeah, pretty much the only innocent ones are the kids.
Yeah, basically. And maybe that one nurse at Kyle's place in Chapter 20, because she's the only one who's still caring for the people at home.
True. She didn't bail,
and she even freaked out, chastised them when they said they were family. It's you haven't visited your son once in the 10 years he's been here.
Son?
I don't know. You know what I mean.
I know it's Drisking, but
it is Drisking. All right. Anyway, yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Do you guys have anything for Chapter 19?
So, yay! FBI finally doing something.
Yeah.
Yay.
And man, they came in force. The cavalry showed up finally.
It makes me wonder why they it was not explained how Sam's lack of communication happened. Because he said, I tried to contact you guys multiple times, and...
It does kind of explain it. It's basically corrupt bureaucrope.
There was a guy in the FBI.
That was because there's a lot of hinting at, because it would be another 80 pages if we wanted to go into the full aftermath of Drisking.
Yeah.
Where they explain that there were some heavy hitters involved in Borrasca. So... Yeah, the FBI even state, we're investigating the internal issues and some of that, because that should have been caught, basically. And also, sorry, so I don't mean to cut you off. We can even kind of add on to that, where he tried calling the FBI. The problem is he's been watched the entire fucking time by his dad, or he's been kept tabs on by his dad, who's in the police force. So he's probably been spoofing a bunch of shit. So. Sorry.
Well, clearly, he called a call center. And the manager of the call center was taking kickbacks and basically told the employees, if anyone talks about Drisking, just ignore them.
Yeah, basically, we'll get to it, and then just say you'll work on it, and then just file it away for nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, again, I can see corruption in the bureaucracy. Mm-hmm. It's a logical and realistic, unfortunately, thing that happens on occasion in the government. So I'm actually just happy that the FBI guys weren't in on it and just kills.
I was half expecting that to happen.
Same. It's this is for Jim Prescott, motherfucker.
Yeah. Have a little more
Prescott says hello.
Yeah, the morphine did worry me as well.
Yeah.
Because the fact that they mentioned it's that's there for a reason.
But it wasn't. It was just a red herring to make you feel creeped out and make you to make the readers oh no. Yeah. So, Gamer, do you have anything in Chapter 19?
I mean, I just
okay,
chimed in on a lot of it, so I didn't write anything down specifically for 19. No.
Yeah.
Just hooray! There's actually a happy ending.
Yeah, it actually did end not in tears.
Yeah, and they deserve it.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I know it's a creepypasta and everything, and Lovecraftian endings are just everyone's fucked regardless, and that's cool. But
yes, this is my you can have horror and have a good ending. You can have horror and have a bad ending. It's kind of one of the good things about horror is that you can have a shitty, dark ending with horror and not feel pissed off about it. But you can also have a happier ending in a horror story and still have that same kind of feeling of not being pissed off that it had a happy ending.
Yeah,
that's kind of the one of the charms of horror is that you can have the good ending and you can have the bad ending, and both are equally. Are supposed to be equally leaving the reader content, with the conclusion of what happens. It just depends on the kind of story you're telling.
And the kind of person reading it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure there are some people, readers of Borrasca, they're like, I was really hoping they just all get killed and Borrasca would keep going on. The grinding sound happens over the mountain, and that would be the end of Borrasca.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah, it would have worked either way.
Yeah.
But I like that they got their just desserts.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. All right, on to chapter 20, which is just basically a single overall kind of thing for me. A fitting end, plot-wise, to the whole affair. It feels a bit quick to recap.
What's the difference? What's in 19 and 20? Isn't it the
19 is him waking up and then the FBI telling him what's going on in town, at the start of the town. And then 20
18 was 17 was the flashback?
17 was the flashback. No. Or no, 17 was basically the camera and
him getting shot.
Yeah. 18 was him was the rewind
Flashback.
to the plan. 19 was him waking up in the hospital and getting a statement from the FBI, and then the FBI talking to him. And then 20 was
is when,
a recap of what has happened in the following days.
When he's actually up in a bed.
Yeah.
He's at the airport.
And then
He's got
also
cocoa in a blanket.
Yeah. And then the conclusion of did Kyle survive or not?
Oh yeah.
I feel
I'm glad that wasn't forgotten.
Yeah.
And just oh shit, we should have done something with Kyle.
I feel like it was a little bit quick to recap and complete the whole the aftermath of what happened, but at the same time, it does have some really good concluding scenes. I wasn't ever actually disappointed in what I read. It felt like we were winding down to the end of the story in a cinematic way. Again, that seems to be my word for Borrasca.
It's a cinematic story.
Yeah. Because everything I was reading felt like I could see in my head the movie playing. And they felt like good scenes, like progressive scenes for the end of a harrowing tale. And then again,
harrowing tale.
We're not at TennoCon yet.
Oh. What's that mean?
So
we're doing heroin at TennoCon? I wasn't aware.
You can get through this review all list. You can get through this. Okay.
Is there a problem?
No.
Okay, good.
And yeah, even the ending, as they are trying to get to Kyle's oh shit, is Kyle just gonna be there? And then Kimber, and then Kimber's I knew as soon as Kimber goes, it's kind of predictable, it's kind of readable. You read ahead of the story itself that Kyle may not come back fully, but he's definitely going to react to Kimber being there.
Because of how
it could have gone dark. It could have just been they basically mope around his room because he's a vegetable. Sorry.
Can I talk?
Yes.
Yeah, essentially, because this is a creepypasta, because of how positive and how perfectly the ending has gone, I kind of expected them to be no, he's actually just a vegetable now because of how long he's been on the meds.
Yeah, it could have gone that way. I'm kind of glad it didn't.
And it could have segued to months or even a year later where he actually starts coming around.
Yeah.
But I didn't hate that he came around that quick. I just kind of expected him to still be out of it. Yeah. So it sort of ends on a little bit more of a somber note.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it could have totally just ended with them crying in his room as they realize that he's not coming back.
Mm-hmm.
It would have been, like you said, a very somber mode, and it's just all right, we'll just fade to black on the silent mountain.
Yeah, they almost could have done another entry.
Yeah, they could have.
Where it's months later and they get a call and it's from Kyle, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And then they run back to Drisking or whatever and they get him and yay.
Yeah, everything's cool now.
Everything is awesome. But no, it's fine.
Yeah. So that's my notes for chapter 20. So do you have anything else for chapter 20?
Yes.
Okay.
Honestly, I can't believe they discharged you from the hospital after only a few days. You got shot in the chest. Kimber. So I couldn't believe it either.
Did you look it up?
Yeah. The recovery time for a gunshot wound to the chest is roughly 6 weeks to never.
6 weeks to you're dead.
Alright, so maybe they should have fast forwarded a little bit of time, but again, realism is not quite the story's forte in certain spots. Like the story has definitely favored style over substance on occasion.
This is when we find out that Sam is actually Wolverine.
Yeah,
he just enabled his healing factor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now the FBI take him to Weapon X to install like adamantium blades into
Can I
him.
just say that I want a crossover between Clark, Xander, Kimber, and Sam as they just fight evil, like skeezy crime across America.
Yeah,
In this like vigilante crew.
Yeah,
Like I would love for there to be a crossover pasta or a crossover like story series of just these two like thriller pastas.
like a freaking tag team situation. You
They're
know?
gonna take down the law, or
Take down the loot.
they're gonna take down the crime.
Yeah.
Like taking down that human, because like again, like both of those, like they kind of have like very similar enemies. Like one's
It's
into
a
human
real
trafficking and
world
torturing and
situation.
some of that. The other one's into human trafficking and baby mills.
Mhm.
So like they're like I could easily see connections between those two organizations. Like maybe one's the traffickers and the other ones are actually the suppliers, and one of them's the basically the mill or the stationary part.
Yeah, like I could see them being in the same universe.
Yeah.
Because like his dad supplies the drug dealer,
Yeah, and even then, and he was from Chicago, which I think
which is
Xander-
probably not where.
no. I think
don't
I
remember.
think Xander like ends up his final confrontation is in Chicago as well.
I don't remember. But if you remember, then that's good
Yeah.
for me. So yes, headcanon, they're in the same universe. Why not?
Yeah,
Fuck.
headcanon. Yeah, like not saying like they're totally the same thing. It's like not to be an asshole like that, but I'm just saying like
We're
to
being,
me
like, we were being an asshole in the ways of inserting our headcanon into it.
I mean we're like free to have our own headcanons. It just doesn't mean it's not going to be real canon.
Mine's a real canon.
Oh no.
Yes.
All right.
Anyway.
Anyway, continuing on with the
I hate the
explanation.
English language. I hate it. I hate it so much. Sorry, continue.
Yeah. With the explanation as to why he's not in the hospitals, because the hospitals are full. But then he was in the hospital, and a gunshot wound is pretty serious.
So he should have. Yeah.
Yeah.
Again,
Yeah.
he recovered rather quickly. Don't think about it too hard. Don't think about it too much because it's fine. It's fine. Yeah.
It's America. He didn't have money to pay for it. They had to kick him out.
Yeah.
And then the ending. Did anyone else get flashbacks to Dumb and Dumber 2?
Gotcha! Yes.
For the audience at home, I am face palming so hard.
Hey, I really wanted that to be a thing.
Well, you've ruined Borrasca 5 for me, guys. Thanks. Cool.
Yes.
I'm out.
We did it!
Well,
Yeah!
I'm done. Later.
Alright. Bye, I can tell he's laughing behind his cries. He'll be fine. But it would be funny if, like, essentially, he's been off drugs for a while. And he's like, he knows they're in town. He's like, I know they're gonna come. I'm just gonna sit here in my chair and fuck with them for a little while.
I hate you guys so much.
You didn't know, where'd you come from?
There's a portal behind me.
Ah!
I'm just that spooky.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, that would have been a funny ending to this. Like, it could have ended with like an 80s freeze frame of all them going, ha ha! Credits.
Yes, because that's what Borrasca needs, is a 70s sitcom ending.
Hell yeah.
Or sorry, not 70s, 80s sitcom ending.
Yeah.
God. Jesus Christ. Alright, so we've done.
want that to be a thing.
Chapter 20's done then?
Well, unless you
I didn't write
He-
anything
he
down.
inserted all
I've
his
been
Yeah.
inserting.
Yeah.
Alright, on to final thoughts then. So, I think my best description for Borrasca 5, and Borrasca as a whole, really, is cinematic but flawed.
Mm-hmm.
There is a number of very rough patches, and the Secrets and Lies drama and character conflict runs a little too high and long for its own good. Like, even for me, like there by the end, I was like, okay,
You're just a glutton for punishment.
like you were like gamer, you were like. You were done with this within like the first 10 chapters. I was done with it within the next after the next 5 chapters after that. But there also is like a good number of excellent scenes and sequences that really build the atmosphere, the tension, the character play. Is it the best creepypasta? Like, is Borrasca supposedly, because that's what a bunch of comments and stuff that have said, right. Is this the best creepypasta? No. But then, I don't think there is any one best creepypasta out there. Except for...
Who Was Phone.
Who Was Phone.
Yeah, of course.
But that's a cosmic tier entity that overshadows all other works of internet fiction.
Yeah, it's not really fair to compare like human writing capabilities
to that of gods.
Yeah, indeed. Yes.
But I digress.
Yeah.
I honestly don't like. I mean, like, I'm sure this was like a great, like, somebody's like favorite and like bestest creepypasta to somebody, but as a whole, I don't think it's the best creepypasta. So that's kind of my stance on like the question is from way back when we did Borrasca the first parts of Borrasca. Is Borrasca the best creepypasta? My answer, no, but it's not a bad creepypasta, and it's not just a good creepypasta. It's a decent it's better than good, but not the best.
What is your favorite? Can you even pick one?
You know what, we'd have to do an episode on that because I need time.
Yeah, I would actually like to go over all the ones that I've read and be like,
do you guys want to do that next episode? I don't have anything planned yet for the next episode.
By Mikey's sigh.
I know.
Sounds like he's totally into it.
All right, cool. Yeah, I digress. I feel that if you like human horror, like the darkest depths of human depravity, greed, corruption, and desperation, throwing some really out of their league kids into that struggle to stop that skeevy horror. If you like the cinematic brand of like Riverdale and CW trashy drama goodness mixed with that human horror and terribleness, I recommend the story. It's not a perfect recommendation, of course, but I enjoyed the read despite all the faults. So my recommendation for the story is that it's not the best creepypasta, but I still recommend it. I think if anything, if I was to like give a suggestion for like improving it, would be to cut out a good chunk of the
secrets and lies.
The secrets and lies, like, because there is a point where it just kind of starts doing the same thing over and over again. Mm-hmm. And if you cut that out, you basically just have Borrasca parts 1 through 6. Because you can just make this basically two
It would still be quite long, even if you cut out a lot of it.
But it would be shorter than. It would probably have enough to allow for like maybe 2 or 3 parts, and then you have a full concluded story from like their childhood, moving on 10 years to like the conclusion and the destruction and defeat of Borrasca itself.
What's the first time jump?
The first time jump was they were like 10.
They were kids, and then they were teenagers.
They were teenagers, and then that was about it. I think like a summer had passed in one of them.
But regardless, the same kind of age, and then it jumps to 9 years after that.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if it's 9 years.
Yeah, it might actually be.
Again.
I think it actually is kind of, yeah, because they were like 18, 17, and then they were like 8 and 9 in the one before that. So yeah, it actually has been going like basically 9 to 10 years. That's actually kind of interesting. I think about it. But yeah, like my one kind of recommendation would be to like edit out some of the stuff that's just doesn't really seem to be necessary, or is a little overstaying its welcome a little too much. Otherwise, though, if you like that kind of like in over their head drama and like the skeevy human horror, the horror of humanity, yeah, 100%, I do recommend this. But it's not going to be for everybody, but I enjoyed it. So, on to Mikey's review, or Mikey's recommendation.
Okay. So, the ending was a very Hollywood ending.
Is that a bad thing, though? Considering how the story's been going the entire time.
Well,
Didn't feel out of place, is what I'm saying.
Well, as you explained, the gunshot to the chest.
Yeah, exactly. When Arnold Schwarzenegger in Last Action Hero gets shot, it's like, it's just a flesh wound. Walk it off. They're in a movie.
Yeah.
And I mean, to be fair, C.K. Walker did go on to write 4 movies and TV shows.
Yeah.
So...
Yeah,
Yeah.
so, like, there's some things that it used real-world logic, and then other things that used Hollywood logic.
It's really just the gunshot, though, isn't it? What else used Hollywood logic?
The fact that he survived.
That's the gunshot, though.
That's the gunshot, yeah.
It's the one outlier.
Yeah. And overall, it's a partial recommendation.
Okay.
Because it has its flaws, as we've stated for, I think, all the Borrascas.
I mean, nothing's perfect, right?
But you do like you did enjoy both moments of it, right?
It was a relatively easy read, other than the caveman speak throughout most of it.
It wasn't really all like that. Like, it wasn't like permeating. Like, we only had like, I think, a few chapters where that issue came up. But
I think it happened way more with Clark.
Yeah. And yeah.
So it's safe to say you would not regard it as the best creepypasta?
No.
What is your best creepypasta? If you could think of one off the top of your head.
I thought we were doing that as a show, as an episode.
I can't think of one off
That's
the top of
fair.
my head.
Yeah.
Well, don't worry. You'll have a week to figure that out. So, Brass Tass, you partially recommend it.
Yeah.
Okay.
For me, partially the same sort of words as Mikey said. It annoyed me a lot through the middle of it. The start of it was really good. The end of it was really good. The middle of it, there was just
too much.
Just a lot of their sitting there spinning their tires, going over the same arguments all the time. And but it did throw me for a loop a couple of times. It made me question things. Like, oh, I thought that was that, but that's that. And oh, I thought they're idiots, but they actually did sit and make a plan. Also, that being said, when that flashback happened, at first I didn't clue in that it was a flashback. I'm like, is this part 13?
Do we miss 13?
Is this chapter 13
Did
finally?
it get put in the wrong spot?
Yeah.
Because it was in the same sort of area where they're at the car, you know? Like, this could have happened right then.
But then you realize that
Yeah.
the author's trying to be cinematic and switch that over.
Yeah, but I had to read a couple sentences. Like, wait, no, this probably isn't back then.
Yeah.
But yeah. So where the hell did that chapter go? I wonder if it's just a mistake, or if it was on purpose.
I feel like it was a mistake. Like, it was just like they accidentally skipped the chapters.
It's just a numbering mistake.
It's not like apartments where there's like no 13th floor.
It might have been that's where the majority of chapter 18 was. And then they decided, well, that gives away too much.
Oh.
And then they took it out, and then we got chapter 18.
And forgot to switch the numbers back up?
Yeah.
That's entirely possible.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, overall, I wouldn't say it's the best creepypasta because it really grinded my gears. Like,
I think
as easy as it was to read, some long creepypastas are just a grind to read through. This one, I could fly through. Like, everything is described really well. I don't have to question too much.
Mm-hmm.
most things made sense. As dumb as Sam is sometimes, it made sense, and I could see what happened. But and even with like all the like constantly like going around in circles about secrets and lies and stuff, it was still decent, like an easy to read and understand what was going on. You just didn't agree with their actions and. The speed of reading it was easy. Mm-hmm. Just the grind of reading it was not easy.
The grind of the plot was,
I'm tired of the lies.
Yeah.
Why?
But overall, it was still fulfilling to read. And it was fun. So I'll still recommend it. It's not a perfect recommendation because it does have its flaws.
Yeah.
But as far as horror of humanity, this is probably the best one in that regard specifically.
Yeah,
of just like a large corporation doing extremely fucked up things and getting away with it.
It's not just a a criminal cult, which is basically what was the case in I Dare My Best Friend series. This one is actually like more than not just organized crime, but organized law, like corrupt organized law.
Yeah, like it goes real deep.
Yeah, like the cops are so alpha and so like
bulletproof.
They think they are the good guys, despite the fact that they are doing this.
Yeah, they sign the good guys.
Yeah, like they're that cocky that they like. Yeah, we're the good guys. We're the good guys, even though we like do all this horrible, horrendous shit.
Yeah,
like that's even kind of like again, that's kind of where the human corruption comes from. Is like it like that's just like that. Like it would be better, or it would be safer if it was just a bunch of like rando cultists and thugs and some of that doing it. But the fact that they are law enforcement, they're supposed to help you and protect you. That makes it even that much worse.
And like it is a little bit of a hot fuzz situation where like the entire town is in on it. But it's way deeper than that. Yeah. And I am glad it didn't just end in a hot fuzz situation where they just started shooting everyone up and they were just like, they could not be hit and they're just killing everyone.
Yeah. Like, because that would have gone like full bore action pasta mode. Like the story, I don't feel like it ever quite hits action pasta level. I think like not as far as like what I Dare My Best Friend. I think it stays in the kind of the thriller mode or like kind of the dark crime mode.
It's still at street level.
Yeah, exactly.
Like
it never goes action
believable.
Yeah.
Because even in the ending, if it was Sam that had to pull off some like amazing shot, it'd be a little bullshit.
Yeah, because we find out we discover like he's not a good shot.
No,
Kimber was the best chance they had for shooting the sheriff, and she took it. Also, even the car chase kind of thing wasn't even like a car chase. It was just a getaway.
Yeah,
like it wasn't like we keep comparing. I keep comparing it to A Dare My Best Friend, but like
because they're both long stories.
There was such a like an integral like car chase in that.
Oh
one.
Yeah, there actually was. I remember that. That's
in this one, like I was kind of reminded by that when they got into the car and started like racing down, and then they were like, and we escaped. I was like, oh, okay.
It wasn't there like they were like racing and they had to like get over train tracks before.
No, they had to go across a intersection with two trucks coming by.
Oh, there's trucks. Yeah. But yeah, that was way more actiony, and I do like that this stayed grounded.
Yeah,
but
it's basically the difference between like again a crime thriller and also crime thriller, a street level crime thriller and like an actiony crime thriller.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, different levels of plot armor and all that. But yeah, it is weird though because like when I first started reading Borrasca, I'm like, oh, it's like the Goonies.
Yeah,
and then it's like, oh, it's like the Hardly Boys. And then, it's like it's its own thing.
Yeah, like even
it's like CW now.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
It keeps switching gears, you know.
Yeah, it's like first part Goonies, second part Hardly Boys, or like CW, like Pretty Little Liars, or the Riverdale series. Actually, Riverdale again keeps speaking to me because like Riverdale is actually basically like take the Archie comics, put it into like a gritty, like crime-ridden, realist place, and have murder mysteries going on, and then as we went on, like we had like a little bit of True Detective, a little noir stuff going on, and then like maybe even a little bit of Breaking Bad. So like it basically like the mood and theming of Borrasca went in kind of swaths of different like similar but different genres. Like they never went too far like to a different genre. They like kind of segued nicely from like subgenre to subgenre.
Yeah, it's almost like the story is kind of like dipping your foot in different pools, trying different types of writing, but it's all the same story, same characters. And it's interesting to see how it changes through it. Yeah,
like if I was to make this if I was to pull inspiration from this for a tabletop game, I would probably use the Gumshoe system, which is like the mystery solving kind of crime or mystery solving like horror game. And they actually have one for Gumshoe, or it's called Bubble Gumshoe, which is basically doing Nancy Drew and Hardy Boy style things. I'd have that one as like them, like I even use that for like the younger
later
stuff.
First part of
younger kids, and then even into their teens, and then when we cut to the next 9 years to like when they're older, I would have either probably in Fear itself. Because in Fear itself, you play as just regular bystanders, and so that you might have like a gun permit and like weapons and stuff, but otherwise you're just regular folks. You're not really into law enforcement or anything like that.
Yeah.
And the monsters don't have to be monsters; they can be people.
Monstrous people.
Yeah, they can. The real horror of, and that's the other thing. The real horror of Borrasca is hell is other people. Like the character, like the monsters in the story are well described because they are human.
Yeah, that's the one thing. When as fun as it is to have a supernatural monster,
yeah,
there's a little bit of disconnect because it's hard to make them believable. And it's hard to get into it. When it's a person doing fucked up things, you can see it happen.
It's very relatable.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it is very relatable. We don't have the cognitive dissonance to okay, I'm going to shift gears because this is supernatural. I don't have to worry about this being real. Like I can. This is just make believe because there's ghouls living living below in the mountain that are like feeding on the pregnant women. That's fine. That's supernatural bullshit. But the fact that they are just regular people that are part of a criminal organization, that makes it even worse because that is like, whoa, that's like one step away from being in the newspaper.
Yeah, pretty much, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
that's what makes it good.
Yeah.
It's not perfect.
No. I'm not, even with my recommendation, I wasn't saying it's perfect. I'm saying if you like human horror and some of that, and you like the trashy dialogue of like the CW stuff, you'll probably like this, but it's not going to be for everybody.
Yeah. Like if I had to read it over again, I would probably cut out the middle section of Borrasca 5.
I'm honestly with you. Like I didn't mind it as much as you did, but I even admit, like, I think they could have used a little, like an editor to go through and just like cut out like a good couple of chunks, just to kind of get the ball rolling a little bit more to the point.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, all right. Well, that's it for this week's episode. This month's episodes.
Yeah,
of Borrasca 5. We did it. We finished Borrasca.
We did it
until Borrasca 6 comes out. And
what?
No.
Oh god.
Sorry. Scared me. That was the scariest part of the stone thing.
It was. Well, we just have to watch Dumb and Dumber 2.
I'm not watching Dumb and Dumber 2.
Wow. Way to just bring down the mood. You're being all jokey here.
You guys can watch Dumb and Dumber 2. I will sit out of that one.
Wow.
Yeah. Sorry, I just don't really care for Dumb and Dumber.
Such a stick in the mud.
And on that cheery note, if you like what you heard, or if you didn't, leave us a comment in the comment section below. This gets posted, whether it be on Kiwi6, Facebook, YouTube, or Tumblr. You can also
ruiner of jokes, I believe I said, right? Is that what I said last week? Yeah.
If you want to talk to us, you can go to Twitter. Mikey's at the E stands for evil. The Gamer in Yellow is at the Gamer in Yellow without the W because they took his last character that he needed. I'm at Review Cultist. You can also email us at aldenterigamortis@gmail.com. That's ALDENTERIGAMORTIS@gmail.com, where you can also leave us suggestions for other creepypastas you'd like to discuss on the show. Hey, if you have a creepypasta that you think is the best personally or like, and you'd like us to discuss it and possibly rip it a new one, or sometimes we don't, send us an email.
We only rip them apart when they deserve to be.
Yes. And I will say that even when we do rip them apart, it's not out of like spite or like out of a hate for the genre. It's just because criticism promotes improvement.
For sure.
That's all we've ever done for on the show is want things to be better. So,
if anyone has any video game related ones,
oh yeah,
if you haven't done that in a while,
I know. And Gamer's getting a little. Like,
I'm just kind of like the dude in yellow now.
He's getting a little existential on himself. He's like, why am I Gamer?
I'm just kind of like the reviewer in yellow now.
Actually, to be fair, we did actually we did actually get a reply from somebody, but I'm pretty sure they were a younger kid.
Yeah. Because
I got Spyro is real, which
isn't a thing.
Well, I can find it, but it's only a video, like a YouTuber like talking about it. Spyro.exe.
There's no link on it?
There is. There might be. I didn't check that far because I was at work right at the time. Spyro.exe, which is on Reddit.creepypasta, and to its form and reputation so far for us, it's not very good.
It's a video game.
It is literally.
What do you expect?
It's literally a page I'll show you after off recording.
Mm.
So we have that one, and then we have one that's called The Donator, and it's apparently a Fortnite creepypasta. But I can't find it. No, I can't even find it.
Oh.
So we'll have to look. Well, if you want to do those ones, we do have some video ones, creepypastas. They're just probably not going to be very good.
Yeah, they generally aren't.
But anyway, yeah. If you guys are looking for, if you guys have any video game creepypastas that you'd like us to, or that you think would be good for our show, Gamer is apparently itching to do some video game creepypastas.
I'll see if there's any actually good ones. I mean, we found a couple. There's the Princess and...
Even that one Warframe one we found, the Stalker, wasn't too bad. It wasn't, like...
I'd have to read it again, but it's the same sort of situation. Like, not a lot happened.
It wasn't like, and they cut to episode, or like, listen to episode to find out what our actual reactions were.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah. So... just leave us suggestions in the emails there.
And links if possible.
Yeah, and links. Links are good. Like, don't just tell us, you should read this creepypasta. If you have an address, like a web address, we can go to it. That would be much appreciated.
I mean, we can Google it, but as you said, sometimes we Google it and nothing happens. So
exactly. Yeah.
Nothing we can do about that.
And if you'd like to help, if you'd like to help support the show, you can go to Patreon. Look up Al Dente Rigamortis on Patreon. Select the backer tier you'd like to support us at. We have $2 and $5 tier with special episodes, extra content, early access. Also, if you're a patron, you now have access to our new Discord server. As we are testing the waters of that to see, get to know some of our patrons and our fans a little bit more. And in the future, we might open that up to the public. To see how it goes. And for our patrons that are already helping support the show, thank you guys immensely. For 5 fucking years, thank you guys. And same goes for our listeners and the authors of these stories. Guys, seriously, it has been a trip for the last 5 years. Like, getting comments, getting emails, getting suggestions always brightens my day. And... for the authors, if you guys weren't writing these stories, I would not have horror stories to read that got me interested in wanting to do the show. So thank you immensely. And I'm sure these guys are great, or thankful that I blackjacked them and held them hostage for all these years.
Thankful's a word. You can use that word if you want.
Yeah.
No, but seriously, like I have enjoyed it because as much as we complain here and there. It has been fun to... I'm talking like I'm leaving, but I'm not.
This is not the last episode.
No, it's really not. But no, it has been fun, and as possibly wrong as our grammar-related discrepancies are, I have been learning more and more the writing process and how things go and flow in all that, and it's... I don't know, I enjoy learning.
Yeah.
It's weird learning non-video game and who shall not be named things, though.
Yes. Mikey, do you have anything else to say, or are you just going to remain quiet this entire time?
Oh, hi, Mikey.
Thanking our viewers and such? It has been 5 years, 3 years for you. Yeah. And maybe 4.
Which means you should be saying 3 times the amount of things I just said.
Really? 3 times?
Yeah. More like maybe 1.5 things, because you were about 2 years.
It's something to do.
All right.
I mean, that's true.
Yeah. So, that was this week's episode. I have been Review Cultist.
I'm Mikey, the E stands for evil.
And I'm the Gamer in Yellow.
And for 5 years, this has been Al Dente Rigamortis. Sleep well.